Yo, what's up, guys? It's Noah here breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, January the 23rd. We have a short Thursday slate, only 3 games today, but like always, we're still going to go through this slate position by position. I'll give you some of my early thoughts, what I'm seeing at each position, what I like the most, looking at the slate on Wednesday night. As we go through each position, as always, I will build out an early core of 5 plays. These are 5 plays that do specifically stand out to me just looking at this slate the night before. Now, like always, guys, the core plays can change, especially like on yesterday's slate, Wednesday's slate. Like, so much news broke on Wednesday. Guys wound up being out that I did not expect to be out. Trae Young, Marvin Bagley, Andre Drummond, which just totally shook up the slate, made you play guys you weren't thinking about. Guys you weren't thinking about at the beginning of the day became great plays, and then maybe guys you thought were great plays at the beginning of the day weren't even in play. So with NBA, things can always change throughout the day. If you guys do want to get access to all of my updated and in-depth content, I do provide a lot of that over on Patreon. I give updated core plays over there. I have a Discord chat that you can join where we're talking through the slate throughout the day. I'm answering questions up until lock. If you have any questions in terms of building out your lineups, you can always ask me questions in the Discord. I do also write an article Monday through Friday that I post on Patreon. It's usually anywhere from 8 to 10 pages long, depending on how big the slate is. I imagine with it just being a 3-game slate today, it'll be on the shorter end of that. But I still go really in depth in that article, write up all my favorite plays at each position, the guys that I like most, go in depth on why I like them. So I do have a ton of content available on Patreon. If you want to check out all I have to offer over there, link to my Patreon is down below. Also, my Twitter is linked down below if you want to give me a follow over on Twitter. I would greatly appreciate it at DFS by Noah. And if you do enjoy these YouTube videos, as always, you can drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. You can also click that notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for all the plugs. Let's go ahead and look at Thursday's short slate, 3-gamer. Start off at point guard, where at the top we have Luka Doncic for 12,300 on the road against Portland. So I think Luka is clearly the top stud on the slate. There are other guys to pay up for. You do have LeBron and AD on this slate. The Lakers are on a back-to-back, so I think that is something worth noting. I don't think this will happen, but we definitely need to keep an eye on the status of Anthony Davis. He is returning from injury. It is a back-to-back. I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up sitting out this game. I'm pretty sure this is a national TV game, though, so I think the Lakers will get fined if they do rest Davis. So I guess that'll just be something to monitor. I mean, I assume he plays, but we definitely need to keep an eye on that. We're going to need to keep an eye on the status of CJ McCollum. That's really the one big question mark we have going into this slate. Even though Whiteside and Irving are listed as questionable, they're actually probable, so they're expected to play. But CJ McCollum is the guy we're going to have to monitor. Really the only big question mark right now. Obviously, if he's out, we know who to target. Dame Lillard. Anthony Simmons should continue to get good run. Gary Trent should get some minutes off the bench. So you do have Lillard as one of the stud options. You got LeBron, AD. But I think Luka clearly stands out as the best play to pay up for on today's slate. And right now there is some value that I do like. It's not great value, but it's definitely value I do have a little bit of confidence in, especially in terms of the price tag on the guys that we're going to talk about later in terms of those value plays. So I do like plugging in Luka Doncic, especially on a short slate. Even with Kristaps Porzingis coming back, Luka still has very good numbers this season. Even with Porzingis off the floor, we can look at his numbers just this season. Obviously, if you take Porzingis off the floor, he has insane numbers, nearly 2 fantasy points per minute is averaging. But he still has a 37% usage rate this season in over 1,200 minutes with Porzingis on the floor, or not 1,200 minutes with Porzingis on the floor, but just 1,200 minutes this season he's played. 37% usage rate, averaging 1.71 fantasy points per minute. 47% assist percentage, does have the highest or second highest total rebound percentage on the team behind Boban at 15.6%. We know the kind of upside that Luka has. It is a fantastic matchup. Portland is really bad defensively. They do struggle to defend point guards. Luka's had a lot of success in this matchup. Through 2 games against Portland, he's averaged 62 Draftkings points against them. These teams just played a couple days ago. Luka had 60 DK points in 34 minutes, for what that's worth. I mean, 12-3, he is expensive. With Porzingis back, you could argue Luka maybe is a little bit overpriced, but I still think on a short slate, raw points really matter. Even if Luka goes for 60 Draftkings points, there's a good chance he's still in the winning lineup. So I like building around him on this 3-game slate. I think he is the top stud by quite a lot. I mean, LeBron at 10-4 does have upside, obviously, but if I can find the $2,000, I would just rather play Luka over LeBron. Now, I think if CJ McCollum is out, then you could argue that maybe saving over or nearly $3,000, saving like $2,600 or saving $2,400 would make some sense going to Damian Lillard at $9,900. Like, Damian Lillard has just been on an absolute tear recently. Put up 92 DraftKings points in 45 minutes against the Warriors last game with CJ McCollum out. Took 37 shots in that game. Shot 50 or 45% from the field. He was 11 for 20 from 3. He was shooting the ball really well, but he was able to contribute in the other categories. Had 10 rebounds, had 7 assists. I mean, nearly put up a triple-double. Like, if Lillard got 3 more assists, there was a good chance he would have went for 100 DraftKings points. Like, I don't expect that to happen again, but obviously there is massive upside for Damian Lillard, especially if CJ McCollum does remain out. So if we get that news before lock, which I don't know if we will, this is a 10:30 game. Maybe we'll get some update in the afternoon. If CJ remains out, Lillard would probably become my next favorite stud. And when you factor in price, it would be pretty close between him and Luka. I think I'd still slightly prefer Luka, but I would definitely have a lot more interest in Damian Lillard. Now, if CJ plays nearly 10K for Lillard, I'll probably just look elsewhere. Kyrie Irving, I still think is a bit underpriced on DraftKings, 8,400. I think Kyrie Irving's fully healthy right now. He's getting the minutes. He played 37 minutes against Philly. He wasn't very productive with just 33 DK points, but it was great to see that the minutes are there. Against the Lakers, not a good matchup, but nationally televised game. I expect Irving gets his full workload. I expect this game to stay close as well. We don't have lines on the last 2 games on the slate. The only game we do have a line on right now is the Washington-Cleveland game. We at least have a total. Don't have a line yet. It's got a 231.5 total. Obviously, that the line depends on what happens with Kyrie, what happens with maybe Anthony Davis and stuff, like if he plays on the back-to-back. But 8,400 for Kyrie, definitely in play for me, especially on a short slate. But really, after that, there's not a lot of great value at point guard. I think Darius Garland's in play. 5,500 though on DraftKings is a pretty hefty price tag for Darius Garland. At 5,500, I don't feel like I have to play him in my lineups. If we go over to Yahoo, though, I think that's where I do want to get my exposure to Darius Garland. He actually looks like a pretty good value play over on Yahoo. He's only $14. This is a really good matchup at home against the Wizards. We know how bad this Wizards team is defensively. Dead last in defensive rating on the season. They are playing at the 4th fastest pace in the league. So it is a good spot for Garland. He did put up 30 DraftKings points in 31 minutes when these teams faced off at the beginning of the season. But at his salary on DK, I don't know what his upside is for this salary. Even if he goes for 30 DraftKings points that's not that great for 5,500. If I'm playing him at 5,500 in tournaments, I want him to put up probably 35 plus DraftKings points. I just don't know if he has that kind of upside. He's not a high usage player. He's not a great point per minute player. The matchup's really good, though, and he's going to get a ton of minutes. So I think that's what puts him in play, especially on Yahoo. That's where I'm really going to target Darius Garland today. At only $14, looks like a pretty good value over there. 5,500 on DK. You can probably look elsewhere. I don't think you have to play him at that salary. But there's really no punt value at point guard today. I think this is probably a position I'm going to be spending with Luka. Damian Lillard, I'm going to like a lot if CJ's out. Kyrie Irving, I think, is in play. And then if you want to go to Darius Garland, maybe Colin Sexton, you could look there. But probably going to be spending at point guard just in general. Now moving on to shooting guard. I do like Bradley Beal quite a bit at the top today. 7,700 on DraftKings. His price still has not adjusted for, what his role is now. He got 33 minutes in his last game against Detroit. As I'm recording this video Wednesday night, Beal's having a pretty good game on Wednesday night. He's getting the minutes. His price is going to slowly start to creep up as he gets more minutes, as he gets kind of the rust shaken off. He put up 39 DraftKings points in his last game. I think right now, at the end of the third quarter, Beal has 35 DK points on Wednesday night. So I expect him to put up a pretty solid game Wednesday night for his salary. Now he's still cheap as well, 7,700 on DK. Really good matchup against Cleveland. Cleveland is a terrible defensive team. We all know this. They're 29th in defensive rating. You have 2 of the worst teams in the league defensively. Both of these teams, the Wizards and the Cavs, are dead last and second to last in defensive rating. So we should see a lot of points scored in this game. I really like Bradley Beal at his DraftKings salary. I think he stands out as one of the better overall plays on the slate. Even though it's a back-to-back, I'm assuming he plays his full minutes, which makes me very interested in him. Now on Yahoo, it is a bit tougher to get to Bradley Beal. He's $40. If I can just find the couple dollars, I'll try and get up to Kyrie for $3 more. try and get up to Lillard for $6 more. So less interested in Bradley Beal. But like if CJ McCollum's out, I mean, shooting guard really sucks on Yahoo. You have like Beal, McRae, Sexton, Hardaway Jr., maybe Gary Harris if McCollum's out. Joe Harris is a value, but this position's really bad. There's no punt value plays that you feel good about. I could see lineups where you just kind of have to pay up for Beal because the position's so bad. So then he would be in play in that scenario. But I'm not going to go out of my way to play Bradley Beal on Yahoo. I think on DraftKings, though, that's where I do have quite a bit of interest in him. Don't really like Dinwiddie now that Irving's expected to play. If CJ plays at 6,700, if he's not limited, I think he's a pretty good option. I would prefer to go to him over Colin Sexton. Value plays, though, at shooting guard, like this is all dependent on if CJ's out or in or out. If CJ is out, 4,500 for Anthony Simmons. Price is coming up there, but he's just getting huge minutes. He's going to play probably 34 to 36 minutes. It was an overtime game against the Warriors, but even in overtime, he still played 46 minutes. Like, I think he played 40 minutes at the end of regulation. Like, he's not going to be very productive on a point per minute basis, but he's going to play huge minutes, which puts him in play for me, especially because he's still under 5K on DraftKings. I think he's still cheap on Yahoo as well. See if I can find him. I think, yeah, he's still $10 on Yahoo. So if CJ remains out, Anthony Simmons, you could argue he's a better play than Darius Garland for $4 less. But given that I'm recording this video on Wednesday night, obviously we don't have that news right now. Just going to have to wait and see there. I mean, Joe Harris for 4,100, you could always consider. He's going to play probably 30 to 32 minutes. He's very scoring dependent. If he's not scoring the ball, he's not going to do much in terms of peripherals. Like, he's not going to contribute in the peripherals. But maybe you get lucky and he knocks down like 4 or 5 threes and puts up 25 DK points, which could be good enough at 4,100. So I'm fine with him, but really shooting guard's a gross position. I expect a lot of my ownership at shooting guard is going to go to Bradley Beal. I think I definitely want to try and fit him in, especially on DraftKings at his $7,700 salary. But now moving on to Yahoo, like, I don't think I've seen a bigger price drop than what we have at small forward on DraftKings. Now, obviously, if you put Beal and Luka in there, I'm pretty sure Luka's small forward eligible. Oh, no, he's just point guard. So, I mean, you would have Beal in there, but if you take Beal out, literally, you have LeBron at 10.4, you would have Beal at 7,700, and then your next most expensive guy is Caris LeVert at 4,900. So, there's only 2 really pay-up options at small forward today. This is a position where I think we can find some value plays. Cedi Osman for 4,400 is in play as a value for me. Not a great point per minute player, but the matchup's really good against Washington. Kind of similar to Darius Garland. Like, he's not a good point per minute player, but he's going to play huge minutes. It's a really good matchup. Like, he could definitely put up sort of a ceiling game, 25 to 30 DraftKings points. I mean, he put up 24 DK points in 37 minutes against the Wizards. I know that's not great production, but like if Cedi Osman, if he's going to play 35, 36 minutes against the Wizards for 4,400 on a 3-game slate where we don't have a ton of options, like, he's in play for me. Joe Harris, who could also play at small forward. But I think the guy that really stands out for value is Trevor Ariza. He's only 3,500 on DraftKings. He is expected to start Thursday for the Trailblazers. Ariza did get traded from the Kings to the Blazers, and Terry Stotts has already come out and said that Ariza is going to be the starting small forward. Now that Kent Bazemore is no longer on the team, Ariza is pretty much going to take over that role that Kent Bazemore was playing, which was pretty much starting and playing 30 to 32 minutes. So I assume that's what we get from Ariza today. I assume he starts and plays 30 to 32 minutes. Not a great point per minute player, but again, the minutes are going to be there. He's incredibly cheap on DraftKings. Like, he could maybe knock down a couple threes. They're going to need his, I don't know if Ariza's as good of a defender as he used to be. He used to be a solid defender. Maybe they use him a little bit on Luka. Maybe they need his defense on Luka. So at 3,500, really like him on DraftKings as a value play, especially if he's going to start, which it seems all signs are pointing to that being the case. He's cheap on Yahoo as well. Going over to small forward, you really have no one to pay up for here. Your most expensive small forward is Caris LeVert at $19, so I think Trevor Ariza definitely stands out over on Yahoo as well. Only $11 over there. Small forward, just a really gross position in general. Like, if LeBron and Bradley Beal weren't small forward eligible, like, this position would literally just be like just cheap plays. There's no studs to go to. But on DraftKings, LeBron and Bradley Beal do have small forward eligibility. Yahoo, though, man, Caris LeVert, your most expensive small forward. Him and Troy Brown, both $19, and really don't have interest in either guy. Like, LeVert, I don't really want to play with Kyrie coming back. Troy Brown, I'm just not interested in now that the Wizards are getting healthy. he's not playing the minutes. So I think just punting this position, playing a guy like Trevor Ariza, maybe playing a guy like DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith, who's going to get big minutes. Like, that's probably where my small forward exposure is going to go to today. But I really think that's it for this position in terms of cheap plays, value. So moving on to power forward now, you do have Anthony Davis at the top here for 9,500 against the Nets. I'm definitely concerned with Anthony Davis. This is a back-to-back. They came out and said for Wednesday's game against the Knicks that he was going to be limited to 30 minutes. I'm not sure how he's doing Wednesday. I haven't looked at that game. I didn't see him in like any of the top scores on DraftKings in any of the top tournaments or whatever, like looking at the leaderboard. So I'm assuming he's not doing great for his salary. 9,500 with it being a back-to-back. I don't expect Davis just now plays like 36 minutes. Given they limited him to 30 minutes on Wednesday, I assume he's probably limited to 30 minutes again, if not less. So I'm a little iffy on AD. Don't really want to pay up for him on today's slate. I'd rather play Lillard, rather play Bradley Beal for cheaper. I'd rather go to LeBron if I can find the salary to get to him. So really don't have any interest in AD. Kevin Love at 8,100 does feel a bit overpriced, but it is a really good matchup against Washington, so I think that does put him in play today. On DraftKings, though, at this salary, like, I'm not going out of my way to play Kevin Love. If I'm going to play him, it's for sure going to be on Yahoo. He's only 31 bucks over here. He's cheaper than Porzingis. Like, if you're going to play a power forward not named Porzingis or AD, Kevin Love, honestly, just in general, the power forward position is really bad. So Kevin Love at 31 bucks looks like one of the best options there. Really don't want to go to Porzingis. First game back from injury, played 27 minutes, but I assume he's limited again. And like I said earlier, don't want to play AD with him potentially being on a minutes restriction again. So Kevin Love, Carmelo, I guess we could talk about. You could look to as well. Ariza does have power forward eligibility, I believe. Yeah, he does, so you could play him here. I do like Maxi Kleber, though, quite a bit as a value. So with Dwight Powell now on injured reserve and pretty much done for the season, I think it's likely that Maxi Kleber moves into the starting lineup and now starts at center for the Mavericks. Even with Porzingis active last game against the Clippers, obviously with Dwight Powell getting hurt in that game, Maxi Kleber did play 32 minutes. Wasn't very productive, only 19 DK points, but the minutes were there. And I think with Powell now out, like the minutes should be there for Maxi Kleber. He does look like a pretty good value play. 4,900 on DraftKings. Like if he's going to play 30 to 32 minutes, he could go for 25 to 30 DraftKings points pretty easily, especially in a nice pace-up matchup against Portland. Portland does play at a pretty fast pace. They are 11th in pace this season. Looking at defensive rating, they're not a good defensive team. They rank 24th in defensive rating. I do like Kleber as a value. I think on DraftKings, makes a lot of sense. Power forward and center eligible. On Yahoo, he's only center, which sucks, but he is really cheap, $13, so I do like him quite a bit over there as a value play. But I think that's probably it for power forward plays, besides the guys I've talked about, like Seti or Jetty you could play here. DFS, I didn't mention him on DraftKings, but if you wanted to play him, you could go there. Maybe Taurean Prince for 4,900 could be in play. Like, I imagine he's probably the guy that guards LeBron. 4,900, if you're going to get 30 to 32 minutes of Taurean Prince where he needs to guard LeBron, like, he could be a value. He's really cheap on DraftKings, only 4,900. That's probably it for power forward. Larry Nance has seen a big price bump up since coming back from injury. Just his last 3 games, he's played 24, 25, and 28 minutes. Like, he could definitely be in play. I think on Yahoo, though, that's where I would probably want to target Larry Nance. He's still only $10 at center. Really good price tag there. Like, if you wanted to play Larry Nance over Kleber, I wouldn't mind that at all on Yahoo. I think Kleber gets more minutes, so that's probably why I would side with him. But it is a great spot for Larry Nance. He's still minimum salary on Yahoo. He's also center only, which sucks, but still really cheap. So he would definitely be in play there. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to center. We'll talk about center real quick just before we end the video. So at the top of the center position, you got AD, obviously. Whiteside, 8,800 against Dallas. Don't know if Whiteside is going to be a priority for me on this slate. I really like Luka. I want to pay up for Luka. I think I'd rather go to Bradley Beal for $1,000 less. I really like Lillard if CJ's out. Those are probably the 3 guys I'm going to be looking to build around for this slate. But, I mean, Whiteside's definitely in play. We know how much upside this guy has. Now that the Blazers are giving him big minutes, like he's putting up massive fantasy games. He's got 55, 60-point upside. He's 8,800. He's expensive, but he's probably worth the salary. Yahoo, it's probably easier to get to him, $42. I think that's a little bit of a more reasonable price tag. If I was going to play him, it'd probably be on Yahoo. I think we have some really good center options, though, in the mid-range, so don't really see myself prioritizing Whiteside today. Tristan Thompson, I like this matchup for him. He's expensive on DraftKings, so probably won't be able to get to him there. I think on Yahoo, though, that's where Tristan Thompson really stands out today. Looking at his Yahoo price, he's only $23. Like, he's just way too cheap for a matchup against the Wizards. Like, we know how bad this Wizards team is defensively. Defensive rating, we talked about it. They're dead last in defensive rating. They play at the 4th fastest pace in the league. Also, they are a really bad rebounding team. They are dead last in rebound percentage. So this is definitely a spot where Tristan Thompson could have a lot of success on the boards. For what it's worth, he's played the Wizards once this season, had a monster game, 52 fantasy points in 36 minutes. He was able to get 22 rebounds in his last game against the Knicks. Like, I would not be surprised at all if Tristan Thompson puts up near 20-20 today. Like, 20 points, 15 rebounds, a couple assists, a couple steals, a couple blocks. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you get a 40-plus fantasy point game from Tristan Thompson. We're going to talk about Jared Allen in a second. I do like Allen a lot, but given that Allen and Thompson are pretty closely priced on Yahoo, only a $3 difference, I'll just side with Tristan Thompson at $23. But on DraftKings, Jared Allen is $1,400 less than Tristan Thompson, so I think that's where I do prefer to go to Jared Allen given the savings. We do know that I think it's Nicholas Claxton or Claxton. I don't know how to say his name honestly. Nicholas Claxton, yeah. So Nicholas Claxton is doubtful for the Nets. Also, DeAndre Jordan is questionable. Like, if both those guys wind up sitting, they are going to be very thin in the front court. I would not be surprised if Jared Allen gets like 32 to 34 minutes today. Last game against Philly with DeAndre Jordan out, Jared Allen did play 31 minutes. Like, normally he plays about 28, like 26 to 28 minutes. But if DJ were to sit, like I said, they're going to be really thin in the front court. This is a Lakers team that does play relatively big. I could see Jared Allen playing big minutes today. He is a very productive player when he gets the minutes. He can score and he can rebound. He can block shots. I like him a ton at $5,900 on DK. I think he really stands out. Even in a tough matchup against the Lakers, the minutes should be there. If DeAndre Jordan winds up playing, I would be less interested in Jared Allen, but given that it's a 3-game slate and our options are kind of limited just in general, he would still be in my player pool for sure. Just don't know if he would be a core play if DeAndre Jordan winds up playing. But if DJ is out, like 32 to 34 minutes potentially for Jared Allen makes him very appealing at only $5,900 on DK. On Yahoo at $20, you could also play him as well. I think, though, with just a $3 difference, I would slightly prefer to get to Tristan Thompson against the Wizards. But that's really it for center. Like, you could play Larry Nance here, who I talked about. I'm fine with. Really do like him on Yahoo, though, at $10. I think that's where he really stands out. There's no value plays, though. There's no punt options I like at center. So I think we pretty much covered everything, guys. Going to be a pretty short video. Only a 3-game slate. Really not much to talk about. Hopefully you guys still did enjoy this video, though. Hopefully it was very helpful to you. If you did enjoy, as always, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. You can click that notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. Also, if you would not, or if you, what am I trying to say here? If you would be so kind to follow me on Twitter. I am very active over on Twitter. If you want to give me a follow at DFS by Noah, greatly appreciate it. You can also check out my Patreon, see all the exclusive content I do have to offer over there. I'll have my article posted in the afternoon. I have core plays posted about an hour or two before lock. You can get in our Discord chat, talk through the slate with me and everyone else in the Discord. Throughout the day, I'll be in there up until lock, answering questions, trying to help you guys out. So check out the Patreon, like the video, subscribe, and I think that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.